Battling your way through procedurally generated dungeons by night and running a shop by day, this is Moonlighter, a game of two halves. In this hands-on gameplay series, we'll take a look at the core gameplay elements coming up. This game's all about managing your day effectively, a bit like the ever popular Stardew Valley, although with the roles slightly reversed, there's a little bit less depth to managing your store and your day-to-day goods, and a bigger focus on dungeon raiding. Now certainly when you're running your shop there are a lot of things to consider, and we'll jump into that in a bit more detail shortly. But first, let's take a look at the dungeon portion of the game. What I really like about combat is that battles are all about figuring out patterns from enemies. These tend to start out quite simple. You know, an enemy can only shoot up, left, right or down. So coming at them from a diagonal angle is going to reap rewards. Later on you start to get all sorts of things going on. You've got mobs flying around the screen and many different things attacking you at once, so it does get more challenging. The primary goal is basically to get as far as you can. Ideally you want to collect the best loot, which you can then go back to your store and sell for a nice tidy profit. You're going to have to keep going back and fighting the same mobs over and over again, a little bit like Monster Hunter. And each time you play a dungeon, its layout has changed. Now I noticed that it's sort of semi-randomised rather than fully randomised. You'll come across some of the same rooms again and again, and there are clues to lead you down the path to get deeper into the dungeon. Each dungeon has 3 different levels, and it did take me quite a long time to get through that first dungeon. There are 5 in total. Now, one of the key and very divisive mechanics in this game is bag management. Your items get these curses that basically destroy other items that are parallel to them, or can send them straight back to your store to free up a slot. And if you die in a dungeon, you basically lose all of your loot other than everything in your top row. Now this is divisive because it's a bit of a pain and it becomes a sort of tedious time management thing. I'm going to get more into that in my review, which you can watch from the end screen as the next video. Now at first I had absolutely no idea what to do on the shop side of things. Basically you go and raid the dungeon, get a load of loot, come back and you have a store with a bunch of slots. You could put items on the table and set a price and hope it sells, but the game does give you a few tips, but really it's all about trial and error. Once you get the hang of it, you can really start to figure out what prices you should be selling your goods at and start to make it into a really nice simulation style part of the game. So that's basically the rhythm of Moonlighter. By day you're running your store, by night you've got this sort of secret life raiding dungeons and getting loads of items that you can then go back and sell. Of course, as you start to progress you need to create better items, so you get involved with crafting, and in order to do that you need to actually invest some of your hard-earned loot back into the town where you're from, so that you can get blacksmiths and other types of people along to produce extra goods. And to be honest, it's one of those games where it is quite tedious, but it's really addictive. So if you're the kind of person that likes that sort of game, maybe if you like Disgaea or Stardew Valley, then it's probably one worth checking out. Now I'm going to just show you the first boss. This bad boy is at the 3rd level of the first dungeon. It's the first one you come across, so if you don't want to check this spoiler out, then why not head over and check out the review. But if you do, have a look through about a minute or so of this footage, and then I'll see you again on the next vid.